Hey everyone, good morning. It's Facebook Live time. So today we're going to talk about Marmalead. I know you guys have been, thinking about it for the last, I would say, week, right? Marmalead has updated its platform, which is a tool for Etsy sellers, and everybody's been going crazy over it in a good and bad way. A lot of questions, a lot of concerns, and I got a chance to speak to the Marmalead team, and I had several of my most popular questions answered, and I wanted to chat with you guys about it, okay? I do have above the most popular questions I will be answering, and of course I want to hear your questions. This is almost like a Q&A. It'll be a casual Q&A where I'll just answer the most popular questions as well as get your questions about it, and I'll be happy to help you as much as I can, as much as I know. Hey, good morning. So just for the record, it's a recent change, it's a recent update to the Marmalead platform. So I don't know everything. In fact, for those of you who are in my private SEO group, you know that when a change like this happens, whether it's to the Etsy platform or the tools that we use, I take some time to test some things out before I go ahead and say, hey, this is what you should be doing, okay? So we're going to talk through that in just a few moments, because people are wondering, okay, what do I do next? What do I do now? Should I change this? Should I do this? What does this mean? Is this good? Is it bad? All these questions. And again, I'm going to do my best to answer. I don't know everything, and I'll tell you. If I don't know something, I'll tell you. If I know something, I will tell you, okay? Awesome. Gemma's been eagerly waiting, so have other people. For this Facebook Live. Again, Marmalead, the changes came out about a week ago, right, give or take, and I'm excited to talk about this because the Marmalead changes are very, very exciting. Now, I don't know what everybody's thinking out there, okay, at this moment, but for me, I'll tell you my opinion, first and foremost, is I'm very excited about it, okay? Now, hear me out. Some of you may be like, I don't know, but hear me out. They have made some changes to let's call it an app, right? The Marmalead app that will allow you to see the biggest change. I think people are going crazy over, good or bad, that they could see in a range, not the exact number, but a range of how many searches a keyword phrase gets on Etsy within the last 30 days, okay? Or I think the last month. And so you may say, isn't that always what they was giving us? No, it wasn't. It was always based on an educated guess, based on a few different factors, okay? This looks good. So, and those factors were taking into consideration all the listings that when you search for, monogram stapler, all the listings there, they could see the views from those listings, and then they just took the average amount of views per week and told you that number, give or take, right? And so that's not really accurate, only because sometimes those views come from social media or from email lists or whatever, like outside traffic sources. And that's why they implemented outliers. They took away the outliers, which are those listings that feel like they're getting traffic from other sources. And that could be a flawed system as well, as you could probably tell. It's based on educated guesses. However, now this most recent update, there's no educated guesses. They have, the amount of searches, and they put it out there in the Marmalead, app for you to see, okay? Now, if you are not upgraded to the Marmalead Entrepreneur Plan, you probably won't see it, right? Now, I did put a link above. I'll put it down below in just a second in the comments. I put a link above to give you a 14-day free trial. Before you click it and activate your free trial, listen to this Q&A, ask some questions, okay? And then, because after you activate it, you have 14 days. Now, I do, and you'll see after this Facebook Live, I do highly recommend you continue with the Entrepreneur Plan, meaning pay for it monthly. I recommend obviously paying for it 6 months or a year because you get a discount. But given the 14-day free trial will show you how awesome it is, especially with this new update. I think people who are on board absolutely will agree. Hey, good morning. I see a couple questions have been already flowing into the comments. So give me a moment and I'll definitely answer them, okay? So just in case you just joined, welcome. Facebook Live time. We're going to talk about Marmalead. As you know, Marmalead has made some major changes For me, it's really, really exciting changes. However, it left people kind of like, oh, what do I do? Some people are excited, right? And some people are like, not that they're not excited. It's definitely exciting changes, but they don't know what to do with it. They don't know if this is change your shop, change your listings, their grades changed. You know, is this keyword, is it now bad or good? Because it used to be bad. Like all these questions are coming in. They don't have, I mean, they have guidance. The Marmalead team is definitely doing the best that they can to answer all the questions. But certainly I know people have been waiting to see what I'm thinking, okay? So let's get started. I already see a question in the comments, okay? And this is really casual Q&A. There's no like, you know, structure as to which questions I'm going to answer first or last. I'm just going to answer them as they come, and I'm going to answer the most popular questions I listed above, okay? Again, if you're interested in getting the 14-day free trial, I have a link up above for you. It's marmalead.com/mastermind, okay? When you go there, you just log in, and then you'll get your 14 free days, okay? But again, wait till we go over all this so you could, you know, utilize the 14 free days, you know, the most efficiently, okay? So let's see, I have a couple questions. I'm gonna answer those, and I'm gonna get to my most popular ones, and you guys may have asked the most popular ones already, okay? Again, I'm gonna do the best I can. I am currently doing testing. I always do testing, just for the record. And what that, I want people to know what that means before I continue, before I answer questions. What that means is that when there is a rumor as to how Etsy search, let's talk about Etsy for a second. I do testing on many platforms, but let's talk about Etsy just for this example. When there's a rumor that sounds not ridiculous, comes out about how Etsy search algorithm has changed, or the Marmalead app has changed, or whatever, and how it affects us. I do testing, and what that means is well, it could mean several different things depending on what the test I'm running, but I take a control group, which is if I'm trying to test to see if renewing works anymore, for example, I take a control group, which is listing, well, again, it will vary depending on the actual test, but listings that are either very popular and that are not very popular, that have decent SEO, and then I take the same type of group and then I renew them, okay? And if I make changes, I mean, this might sound like, you know, a different language to you, but I'm just trying to articulate the best that I can. I take the other group and then I say, okay, I start renewing in a certain time frame, and then I start to have theories or hypotheses that say, you know what, I think that if I did this change, this might help with the renewing strategy. And so I might take a separate group, and I guess you would say document which listings are which and how often I document everything, so I understand what the results that I'm seeing are. And so then I take another group if I need to, that maybe is newer listings, right? Just brand new listings that have no listing quality, and I try to renew those. And so I could see across the board what comes out of it. And after I see some results, what I do is I try to repeat the test, because you never know if the first test was just coincidence or whatever. So to repeat the test, if I still get the same results, then I will repeat the test with me controlling the outcome, meaning I then say, okay, if this and that happens and that's going to help my renewing to the top of search, let me do this on purpose, whatever that may mean, depending on my results, and I see if it gets to the top of search. If it ends up being a win, then I share my results with the SEO group that I have, okay? And sometimes these tests take a long time, anything I do, you know, before I give results to people and tell them how to do it, because I need you guys know this, I need time under my belt. Like I need 30 days worth of data. I need, you know, and after I run the first test, I need another 30 days worth of data. I don't just say, oh, here's my theories, here you go, guys. Because what happens is, I feel that's a little irresponsible. I feel that people take those theories and say, oh, let me test it out too. People get excited, and I test it out too. I don't want people changing their listings because of it. So I tested on my own stuff. Yes, I've taken popular listings, not so popular listings, and changed things on it. So I do put my own shops in, I wouldn't use the word jeopardy, but yes, I do. I technically do that to test out these theories for you guys. Does it affect my shop? Yeah, probably, but you know, that's what I do. I mean, this is what the Handmade Mastermind's about. I mean, I have to make sure that when I do these type of tests that I could, I don't typically share the results with you as far as this 30 days, this will happen. I don't do that, but I tell you what I believe, and then what the outcome was. and then I share it with you and how to do it yourself. Again, what I'm trying to do is see how I can control the outcome after many different tests. I hope I didn't bore you with that explanation, but just so you know, when I do tests, it does take a while, and this is what I do. And again, I don't think I articulated it correctly. I may articulate it better depending on what the test. If you give me exact tests I'm trying to run, I could always tell you how I would run it, you know? Anyway, let's get to the questions, okay? This is a casual Q&A about Marmalead. Let's get to the question. Mary Wood asks, thank you for talking about this. My main concern is being able to do keyword research for upcoming holidays and seasons. Mother's Day, it's not really possible right now on Marmalead, but I just saw a post in the group where they're working on it. I think I'll have to use last year's data on Etsy to determine which keywords perform best. It's possible, Mary. So that's a really good thing to do anyway, to use last year's data, especially for these type of holidays. If I can understand your concern correctly, based on your comment, the issue is you can't do keyword research too far in advance, because at this moment, when you're doing keyword research, let's say for Mother's Day, if nobody's searching for it, it looks like a keyword phrase that's not popular, because as we know it, when we go into Marmalead, if you have the upgraded version, when you type in Mother's Day gifts or personalized Mother's Day jewelry or whatever, you won't see a huge amount of searches because it's not closer to Mother's Day, right? Actually, it may be. I forgot what Mother's Day is. But anyway, I think that's what you're trying to say, and that could not give you really good data. So what does that mean? It keeps us Etsy sellers on our toes. But it's not Marmalead's fault. They only get the data as it comes in from not, well, I don't know how they get the data exactly. It's proprietary information, but somehow from Etsy, right? And so they can only get it as it comes. They can only get it as customers search. So leaves us on our toes. I think the best thing to do, Mary and everybody else, is that you would take this is my wallet. It's a very small wallet, yes, but you would take this personalized wallet that you're about to sell for Mother's Day, have everything ready, have the photos ready, have the description ready, have, you know, whatever else ready about it, okay? And so when you're able to start doing the data research about which keyword phrases are best to use, okay, then you're ready. And what that means for me is, maybe I don't have it down packed yet because it just came out, this thing, but literally stalking this Marmalead app to make sure that, okay, when do I see an increase in these keywords? And am I seeing an increase in personalized gifts for mom from this week to next week? If I'm seeing an increase, that means I know that's a keyword phrase that's catching on and becoming popular. So I know to use that. Using also last year's data is a really good kind of baseline to start out with, Mary and everybody else, because I mean, sometimes consumer behaviors are predictable, and especially if it's keyword phrases like personalized gifts for mom. I mean, can we all agree that's probably going to be popular forever? But depending on what is trending, depending on your phrase, what you're selling, it may not be, right? Because if silver stackable bracelets are really popular this season, you might find more keyword phrases like that as opposed to just personalized jewelry for mom, right? Because jewelry is very broad, but people will be looking for stackable bracelets, for example. But that's a good baseline to start out with. And yeah, unfortunately, when it comes to seasonal stuff, yes, you kind of have to stalk the Marmalead app to see what the increases are. However, what I would personally do, and again, you guys are catching me off guard, right? Because this is a casual Q&A. I didn't know these questions in advance. I'd probably list it with keyword phrases that were popular last year, give or take, right? Make sure to do the best I can. Apply SEO in the fashion I teach you guys if you have the SEO webinar. Okay, make sure you have rockstar. I mean, everything else has to apply. Rockstar photos, rockstar description, variations, all that stuff to help people convert. Okay, and then as it gets closer, then you can stalk the Marmalead app and do adjustments to the listing that's already public. Okay, that's what I would do, because you want to catch. So if nobody's searching for Mother's Day gifts, any type of keywords just yet, maybe right now people are just starting to search for it. You want to catch that high. You want to catch that high because people will be clicking on you, potentially buying. So by the time people are shopping for it, you've been clicked on, maybe purchased a few times, so your listing quality of that new listing is a higher. So you don't have to wait until those keywords come. Start by, I wouldn't use the word educated guesses. I would use the word using last year's data if you have it. If you were not around, and maybe it's a little bit tougher for you if you were not around on Etsy last year. But I would definitely consider using that just to get started. And you could, Mary or anybody else could tweak those phrases that listings or that listing or listings later. I just have to see more data come in. Okay. All right. So good morning. I want to hear about this. No more free info, it seems either. Yes. I don't have the Marmalead. I'm a subscriber of Marmalead, so I don't see what the free version has. But, and I'll say this again, and we'll talk about more about this. I absolutely think more than ever, okay, looking you right in the eyes, that Marmalead, the app, is so worth paying for now. Now, again, I have the 14-day free trial. The link is up above. So test it out when you're ready to test it out, because you have 14 consecutive days. But afterwards, I absolutely think like the information it gives you is the best I've ever seen. Nobody has that proprietary information about how much searches something gets. Okay. Another thing that really makes me believe that it's worth paying for, besides other features that they updated in it, by the way, which we'll talk about, that the Marmalead team is, I mean, this is their full-time job. They're dedicated to make this tool the best that they can. The fact that they have this proprietary information that nobody else has, it's exclusive to Marmalead, it's like really awesome. Okay. Anyway, yes, my Marmalead cards have gone insanely well just from my SEO, but Marmalead results show low searches for my keywords. Very confusing. Let me see if I understood that correctly. You see the keyword on Marmalead now. Yeah, I mean, there isn't. The only way to see it is as people search, right? If your customers are searching now for it, that's when you start to see the data. You know, I wish there was a way to get alerts from Marmalead that as you put in a search and tell Marmalead, hey, send me emails or send me alerts when this keyword phrase goes up 100, you know, in searches or something. That'd be kind of cool. But at this moment, it is not, you know? And so, yeah, absolutely get a head start by using last year's data and then keeping an eye on it, okay? So somebody asked a really good question following up to that, which is part of my popular questions. She said, yes, my Mother's Day cards have done insanely well. Oh, you're in the UK, so that makes sense. Just for my SEO, but Marmalead results show low searches for my keyword. Very confusing. I want to talk about this, okay? Because people are telling me, Dahlia, do my keywords suck? It shows low searches, you know, blah, blah, but I'm doing very well. First and foremost, I usually say this a lot when we talk about SEO. Don't change those things that are working. Can we all agree? Yes. Next, if this listing is working, you can obviously check in stats to see what keyword phrases are bringing it in, okay? I had this conversation with Richie, one of the guys from Marmalead, and I said to him, according to your system, this keyword phrase is low, okay? But I'm getting people coming to my listing. One of the phrases that they find me is with this listing. So what gives? Just for the record, low on Marmalead is 0 to 100 searches, okay, in the last 30 days. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. And this is going to answer your question maybe even more, and you can ask follow-ups. I want you to think about this for a second. If gold wallet, if personalized gold wallet, okay, is being searched for, according to Marmalead, 0 to 100 times. We know that can mean 0, that can mean 100. That's number one. Next, if your item is being found on the first page, the likelihood of you getting the higher end of those people clicking on you is high, right? If you were on page 5, you can bet your butt that on any keyword phrase search, nobody's gonna click on you, right? Or very, very little. And so I found one of the phrases that were really popular. Sorry, that were not really popular according to Marmalead, but I was getting hits on it. And we talked about it, me and Richie, and we simply came to the conclusion, which absolutely makes sense, that people are searching for it, not much in comparison to other keyword phrases. It's red because there are other phrases on the Etsy platform that get searched much more, in the thousands, right? And so it's red because it's in comparison. If the most amount of searches a phrase gets is 100, then you know that the Marmometer for Etsy searches would be different, right? You would know that it would be from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and then you see the red would be different, okay? But because in ratio, there are searches that have much, much more phrases, that one gets 0 to 100. Now, could it be, let's say, 0? Absolutely. But let's say if it's 59, 60, you might say 60 views a month, okay? If you've gotten hits off of that listing, off of that search phrase, okay, you might say, Dahlia, I thought Marlon said it was bad. It didn't say it was bad. Okay, forget the color red for a second. It says it's 0 to 100. Okay, more than likely, if you got hits off of that phrase, which I did in one of my items, I found that people are clicking on me because I'm a rock star. I have awesome stuff. But also, I also noticed that my items in that search phrase were clumping, which is good for me, meaning I've had several items on the first page because of that keyword phrase. So the likelihood of being clicked on was higher for me. Okay, now you may not see clumping for you, but somebody else may see clumping for you. Meaning, if my assistant here searched for that same phrase on her own app, Etsy app, she may not see my listings on top. Other people may, you know. So just understand that just because it's lower on the Marmalead, it doesn't mean it's a bad phrase to use. It means in comparison to other ones, it's not that much. However, if you're in an industry that all you get is 0 to 100, okay, and that's what you got. And yeah, if you want to talk about business strategy, I mean, certainly you're in a lower demand type of business, because when you think about, let's say, the max 100 views in a month, what is that? What is that? 100 views in a month divided by 30, okay? That's 3 views in a day, okay? And that's if they click on you. So, you know, because there's many people on the first page with you, right? So, but if you have a rockstar product and people keep clicking on you, then leave it alone. That means even like, wouldn't you rather get, I know this is an extreme comparison, but wouldn't you rather get in a month, you know, 60 to 100 views in a month for this item than just 3 when you're considering a popular phrase? Because if you have a popular phrase that you're not getting found for, and you only get like 3 hits in a month, even though that shows up like a popular phrase, it might be hard to get to the top of the search for. But the less popular phrases, you get to the top of search for, and you're getting hits because it's very relevant. And the reason why I use that keyword phrase that was less popular, I told Richie, I was like, you know what, this is relevant. It's a very general phrase. I used it in conjunction with a long tail keyword, but that phrase was being picked up. It was describing my product perfectly. That's another thing. If it describes your product perfectly, you got to use it, because remember, we're selling to humans, you know, and so they have to understand what the hell you're selling, you know. And so describe my product perfectly. Coincidentally, even with the low amount of searches for that month, people were still hitting on my listing, and I looked into it further. I was on the top of search multiple times, so it just made sense. Okay. All right, Erica, I'd love to test this new rollout and see how I like it. Though I already did a free trial in the past, so I assumed I'm out of luck on that. Probably, you know, probably. I really recommend, first of all, if you did my free trial already, awesome. But the new rollout, obviously, you can do the free trial again. If you really want to test it out, I think I forgot how much the monthly cost for Marmalead is. Do a month and see how you like it. I'm telling you right now, like, I put my stamp of approval on it. Like, I really highly recommend you upgrade to Marmalead because of this new feature is a huge game changer. Okay, that's it, Erica. Because of the new rollout, I'm just guessing here. I don't know if I should be saying this. Because of the new rollout, you're more than welcome to test that link again to see if it would have, you know, like reset it itself. Test the new link again later. See if it'll give you the upgrade for 14 days again. But if not, then I would really recommend at least doing 1 month of upgrade to see how, you know, see really how you like it. Okay, Paula, we've been discussing what each of the bars represents in the search results. I think we should divide the largest number by the amount of bars, but I seem to be in the minority. I don't follow with that, Paula. We've been discussing what each of the bars represents in the search results. I think we should divide the largest number by the amount of bars. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. I don't know. I haven't thought that through. I don't think of it like that. I just think, okay, I see that the number says, you know, 2 to 3,000, or 0 to 100, or 300 to 400. And so for me, it's like, okay, the amount of searches that people are doing, it's a range. The reality is, let's say Amazon, Marmalead team can give us an exact number of the actual searches, but the issue with why they don't is because that number changes every day, right? Because less people, like with the last 30 days, when the other day drops off, the most latest day, and the new day comes in, that number's going to fluctuate. As you can tell, right? The number will fluctuate, and it will confuse people. And that's why they do a range for it, because the number will fluctuate each and every day. I don't know how often it updates, but it will fluctuate, and that can present a lot of confusion for Etsy sellers using this tool. They might be like, oh, today it was 50. Why is it 80 tomorrow? Like, what happened? Because it's a range. I mean, people search this keyword phrase differently in different days. Obviously, the weekends might be popular for your phrase because that's when your market's, hanging out on Etsy or whatever, So that's why they give us a range. And reality is, when you look at that range, look at the number and say, okay, this many people are searching for this phrase in a range, I'm not sure if I understood your question correctly, Paula. If not, please provide a follow-up, because I don't think I understand. If you just joined me, welcome. We're doing a casual Q&A about the Marmalead changes. I'm going to go over some of my most popular questions in a second, but I see there's some comments below that I want to answer. Okay, Angie, if your listing has a bad grade in Marmalead, but is performing well in your shop, should you adjust the SEO? Not sure if it could possibly do even better or lose the success it is having by making the changes. Okay, I'm going to answer this question. I love this question because I posted it as one of my most popular questions. People are like, my grades changed. I used to have A's, now I have D's. Now, like everybody's going crazy, right? Okay. I always say, first and foremost, if your listings are doing well, leave it alone. But Andrew's like, Dahlia, I get that. However, but what if I could be doing better? What if, right? And so it's a valid point. Because I always believe if it's not fixed, don't break it. I'm sorry, if it's not broken, don't fix it. There you go. But you might say, but Dahlia, what if it is broken? What if these good sales are broken and you could be doing better? So here's what I would tell you. First, do the due diligence and see what your keyword phrases look like. So imagine it was this listing that Angie's talking about. Maybe she's like, "Guy, this is doing decently, but according to Marmalead, my A went to a C." First of all, look at the reasons why I gave you a C. It'll show you. There's a few different factors. However, if you feel like it's because of your SEO, then do your due diligence and say, okay, let me see how Marmalead broke this down, and say these are I'm just throwing this out there, 7 phrases I'm using on my listing. Let me go into Marmalead and see what the Marmaleaders are telling you about each of these 7 phrases. Okay, so that's what Angie does. She goes with the 7 phrases, and so she's like, okay, it's giving me like, a lot of them are lower, but some of them are a little bit higher, decent, but I can see why Marmalead gave me a failing grade on that, because we could be doing better. Okay, the grade is a guideline. Okay, because if you are in a general market that's not very popular, okay, but you are getting the best out of the worst market, then it's good. So what Angie should be doing is saying, could I be doing better? This is how you find out. You say to yourself, here are the 7 phrases that I'm using that are kind of like, according to the Marmaleaders. You find in your market if you have better phrases, according to the Marmaleaders, that you're not utilizing in that listing or any of your listings, okay? Because if you find that in your market, there isn't. Like, you still find a wide variety of low ones, some medium ones, etc., then you probably have the best for that listing. Again, educated guess based on what I'm saying. But if you find that, oh man, like after I did some research, it has to be relevant to this listing. Don't start giving me general crap. Okay, yeah, the general phrases will give you much more higher searches, okay? But if you're finding that, I can still describe this wallet in different phrases, such as X, Y, and Z phrases, and they're much better than Marmaleaders, and the competition is not scary high, then that's when Angie probably could tell, I could make it better. But when you find, after doing your research and doing some more keyword research and saying, okay, I'll bite, Dahlia. I did some research and I found that for this item, I could find relevant phrases, but they're not much better in the Marmaleaders compared to my other ones. I'm gonna leave this one alone. I hope you guys followed when I said that, okay? And that's how you can determine whether or not you should freak out when you have A's go to C's or whatever, because the Marmaleaders have changed, and so, but that may mean nothing to you, okay? Because in your market, Angie may find that she might not have to change anything, even though the Marmalead is telling us she's bad, because she might find that her market, her relevant phrases, don't give her more than 100 or 200 searches a month at this moment. Remember, guys, this can change over time. You know, do phrases do better throughout the year? Absolutely. Obviously during Christmas time, we know that. But depending on your market, right? If you have graduation items, obviously during graduation time, that's just to increase. You know, you see what I'm saying? So you have to gauge whether or not lower search results, like amount of searches, are normal in your market. If Angie finds that it's not normal, then hell, if she found a whole bunch of other phrases that are relevant for her item that are much better than the Marmaleaders, and again, not crazy competition, then go after it. But what if Angie finds some really great ones, but are crazy in competition? You know, I would tread lightly, okay? Because then that means if you change your item, because yes, you found some great things, it might take you a while to get to the top of search because of the high competition. And so I would not break something that's already been selling and already been getting views just to chase after something that, yes, higher views, but might take you much longer to get there. Instead, for Angie, I would say, okay, I found some really great phrases. Create some more products that are similar, that work for that phrase, and use those new phrases that you found better, better Marmaleads for. Yes, they're high competition, so it might take a while to get to the top of search, but at least you're utilizing those phrases, okay? Does that make sense? I hope so. Whew, that was a mouthful. All right, good morning. Yeah, I forgot that Mother's Day in the UK is coming soon, you know? Definitely forgot. Jen, do you know how recent those search results are? I remember seeing the storm was a bit behind before, and we were supposed to check in them in search before using them. I don't know the exact answer to that. I could tell you that when you type in a search phrase in Marmalead, and then you see the Marmaleaders, the one to the left is Etsy, is a number of searches. Let me see. Is Etsy searches, okay? Where are we here? I lost you guys. Oh, there you are. That is 30 days worth of data. That's all I know, okay? Now, how often does it update? I don't know if when tomorrow comes, if there's a huge jump in searches, if it updates tomorrow and drops off the last day. So imagine it's a 30 days worth of data, right? When we move over a day, does the back one drop? Or is it every week? I don't know the answer to that. I think a lot of you guys are inside the Marmalead private group, not private group, the Facebook group. You can definitely ask Richie. I did not ask that question, but I know it's a 30 days worth of data, okay? Gabby, I am tuning in late, so I am not sure if you answered this already with the update Marmalead website. Can we still use your webinar, or should we wait for updates on the webinar? Yes, you can. However, people that have been using the webinar, because they're having a hard time navigating Marmalead in conjunction with the webinar, they've been posting in the private group saying, hey, I get how to do this, but is this the way to use Marmalead with this? So they're asking questions in real time because of this change, and that's more than welcome. I ask you that if you're in the private group, provide screenshots of your Marmalead results. It just makes it easy for me to give you feedback. And I'm sure other members I've spoken to have caught on to the Marmalead changes fairly quickly. So not just myself, but others will. However, I'll be more than happy to chime in and say, hey, this is how you read it. So my webinar is still relevant. It's just the way that you use Marmalead is different. Okay, so until I update it, I want you to ask questions. Some of it may come easy to you. You might say, oh, well, duh. I mean, even though the platform of Marmalead changed, I could easily see how it correlates. Dahlia asked me to look for this on Marmalead, and yet it changed the way it looks, but here it is, you know. But if you definitely have questions, because I could imagine people do with that, with the cosmetic change and even the data change of Marmalead, go ahead and ask in the private group. But the way you apply your keywords and all that jazz is the same. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of this Facebook Live that I do testing a lot, and so it's not because of Marmalead's change, but because of Etsy's testing and all this nonsense that they're going through. I am doing testing on my own. However, just for the record, you know, why is it taking me so long? Because Etsy's a mess, but also because there's so many different, you know, things I'm testing for. Renewing strategy. I'm not gonna get into it now, but there's so many, you know, this clumping thing, and there's so many theories, if you will. Okay, there's so many factors that is making it a little bit more complicated for me, and I don't want to share results until I know what I'm sharing is as accurate as it can be based on my results, okay? And so there's multiple factors that, first of all, some controllable, but some not controllable. And yes, if I find that some factors are not controllable, because my tests don't conclude anything, my tests don't conclude anything that is like clear, and I might conclude that it's things that we can't control, such as things that we can't control, by the way, or for example, if my assistant here is searching on Etsy for her personal use, and she's like trying to find like, new cute shirt or whatever, and based on her, behavior on Etsy and where she clicks and all this stuff and where she lives or whatever, then she might see different results than somebody else. I can't control that. That's Jessica. She, she's searching for certain things, and that's how she behaves on Etsy, and so that's things that are uncontrollable. Where she lives in the U.S. is uncontrollable. If she searches for shirts and stuff, when she searches for something else, how she moves around the platform, or it's very uncontrolled. Like, I can't control her, and Etsy takes this artificial intelligence and starts building on it. It's always learning. So there will be things that's uncontrollable. Okay, we can't force Jessica and other buyers or potential buyers to act a certain way when they come to my listing, right? We could influence them by making great listing, great photos, work on things to help conversions, but so anyway. All right, so Jen, also there's a thing where sellers search terms to find their listings. How many of these search results are sellers searching their own terms? That's a great question. Marmalead does not how do I say this? Marmalead doesn't say, hey, these search terms, part of it was Etsy sellers, part of it was not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so, does that make sense? So we can't go by that, because, I mean, that's a difficult thing to pull out, because there are sellers. So if you want to say, well, couldn't they get the data that sees who our sellers are and remove their searches? No, you can't, because sellers are also buyers, right? But yeah, I'm sure that I'm very well aware of the fact that there are sellers on the platform who just use Etsy to do the search, But for the record, there should be hopefully much more buyers searching in there. They might say, Dahlia, doesn't that lead to slightly inaccurate results? Yeah, but just for the record, I mean, Marmalead has come leaps and bounds compared to their other before this update, meaning before this update, it was much more of an educated guess compared to now, So unfortunately, yeah, it will still include search terms. Number of searches for a term, including us searching on it. Yeah. I was wondering if they're going to raise their prices even higher now. I don't know the answer to that, Trina. I was not told. I didn't ask, but I was not told that by the Marmalead team. I assume that if it was, I doubt it, but that's my inkling. I assume that if you did a 6-month or a year plan, it would not change on you because you already paid for it, or something like that. Like you already are grandfathered into that, So Stacy says, and by the way, I've answered a lot of the popular questions so far. If by the end of this Facebook Live I don't answer the popular questions I listed up above, I will get to them. But I feel like everybody's gonna be asking those questions in some form or another, Stacy, so if there is a word or phrase that describes a product perfectly, but there are others we could use that are also describe it and rank higher in number of searches, should we use that? Dumb question? No, not dumb question. If you have 2 phrases, okay, that both describe your product perfectly, such as gold wallet, personalized gold wallet, and personalized gold envelope wallet. I just made that up. You get the point. They both describe this product. Then Stacy's asking, one of them ranks higher, meaning much more searches, okay? Which one should we use? Should we use it, whatever? Here's my answer to that. Here's a loaded answer. Use the one that is higher in searches, obviously, right? Because they both describe it perfectly. However, don't take the other less searched for phrase and throw it in the garbage. Hold on to it, because I want to take a look at a couple things. One, is the competition decently low, a few thousand or so? That means it's a phrase that you might want to use if you have room in that listing to use it. That's number one. If not, if you have other listings like it. We talk about this in my SEO course, but if you have many different types of gold wallets or many different types of envelope wallets for sale, don't utilize the same awesome phrase 20 times. That's silly, okay? Yes, there's clumping and there's all this stuff, but that's silly. Get found for multiple phrases. Get found for a variety of phrases. So what I want Stacy to do, or anybody else, is say, hey, other silly phrase that's not getting much searches, I'm not going to throw you in the garbage. I'm not going to, discredit you because you are low in searches. At this moment, you're low in searches because you don't have a bad amount of competition, okay? I think it's a top of search for you later because those people that are searching for you, I want to get them to my shop, okay? So I will use you, but I will use you if I have room in this listing, or, if I have other listings that need extra phrases, because I overused other phrases that were awesome, because I still think I'm going to give you a chance. Because remember, guys, the whole 0 to 100, which is considered bad, bad on Marmalead, maybe it's not that bad, especially in your market, especially when you have a whole. I've coached people who have, hundreds of listings. I'm not saying the quantity is better. I'm saying that they have hundreds, and if they have multiple types of wallets or multiple types of coffee mugs or multiple types of calculators, I don't know, then you need to have a bank of these type of phrases. And so while you will be using probably similar basic general phrases, 2-word phrases, or the word stationary over and over again, that's fine. But 2 or even 3-word phrases should not be overused 20, 30 times. You should have a variety. And so don't throw that one that's less usable in the garbage. Save it for later, especially when the competition is low. I would definitely go after it. And possibly in the future that could increase in amounts, in searches. But at this moment, yeah, use the one that's more popular, especially if it's not hard to go after as far as competition. If you found the more popular one has 80,000 results, but the other one has 6,000 but less searches, I'd probably go after the lower one and maybe try to include the more popular one, especially if it's a general phrase, because you know how I teach you in the SEO webinar, take that general phrase and make it into a long tail, because that would certainly help you. But if it was a long tail phrase that has a great amount of searches but crazy competition, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Okay, I would probably not die to go after it. Again, guys, ask your questions. But if you're in my private group, all the stuff I'm saying will be much more. It'll be updated for you. If you paid for it once, you have it for a lifetime. The SEO webinar, or any webinar actually. But I will be updating it soon. As soon as I get my not my life together, but everything I'm telling you here cannot be taught in this fashion, right? And my SEO webinar, when I update it with this new Marmalead upgrade, it'll be taught in a fashion that is much easier to follow and understand. And so they'll be it's almost like Stacy's question will be much more organized in a way that it helps Stacy, after she watches the webinar or that piece of the webinar, understand which phrases to use. Okay, and it's going to be in the section where the keyword, selecting your keyword phrases in the keyword research part. Okay, but I'd be happy to answer it here. I'm just saying that when you're listening here, that's great. If you caught on to my answer, fantastic, run with it. But if you're like, oh, okay, I'll wait, because it won't be too long that I update the SEO webinar. I'm just waiting for Marmalead to kind of cross their T's and dot their I's with their upgrades, and then I'm gonna do it, because I'm wrapping my head around most of their platforms. Me and Richie had a long, hours conversation about it, and I asked a lot of questions, and I'm trying to, how I do my webinars, I organize it in a fashion that's easy to understand if it doesn't, because it's easy to understand in my mind, but I have to take what's in my mind and say, okay, how do I do it step by step? How do I make Stacey and others understand, if they have decisions to make like this, how do they make it? You guys know what I'm saying, right? Okay, let's continue. If you just joined me, by the way, welcome. We're doing a Marmalead Q&A. If you just joined, of course, we watched the beginning of this, but I'm answering the most popular questions, obviously coming straight from the comment section. If you are interested in trying the new Marmalead out, the link up above, depending on where you're watching this. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, it's up above. If you're watching this on YouTube later, the link is down below. I give you a 14-day free trial of Marmalead. It's marmalead.com/mastermind. If you already have the trial, I would just try again. I would click on it again to see if it gives you again. I'm only saying that. I'm not trying to game the system, but because of their update, it may have reset itself. I don't know. Try it. Either way, when you're ready to give the 14-day free trial, go ahead and click on it, sign in, and it will be there. Okay. But if you're ready to upgrade to Marmalead, I highly recommend it. Just click the link above. Upgrade to Marmalead, at least for a month. Yes, it's good. Because it is a super awesome tool. Like, I mean, it has always been. I've always recommended it. I use it personally all the time. But with this recent upgrade, it's kind of like gold. I kind of like, it's one of those things, guys, where I'm like kind of angry that I didn't think of it myself. I'm not a programmer by any means, but I kind of like wanted to come out with this myself. Like, because we now have the amount of searches that people do with a phrase, it's kind of like dangerous territory. It's like, wow, I can exactly know what's popular. And so you want to have this tool before your competitors have it, okay? It just, trust me when I say it, get this tool. It's really good. And because not just this upgrade, the Marmalead, there's other upgrades that have happened, but this is the most popular one that people are talking about, because the Marmalead team is dedicated 24/7 to making this tool better for you. I just know that because I'm good friends with them. Okay, so, oh, Stacey, I didn't read your second part. Hey, Jasmine, you finally made it. Awesome. For example, pet loss gift has 0 to 100. It's one of my go-tos. It's so low, I want to replace it. Maybe replace it. Find another great phrase. However, pet loss gift for me is a very general phrase, okay? I would probably not replace it. I'd probably leave it in there because it describes your product perfectly. I would try to see if you could find better phrases, okay? And again, listen to what I just said. I might have to do a decision tree for you. That's what seems like the best route to go when it comes to like, which phrases should I pick? You know, I'm in the red now. Should I be better? You know, should I fix what maybe appears to be broken? I would say find better phrases. And if they're general like this one, then it may be better to go after it. However, if this is still bringing you in traffic, try to duplicate your listings, different types of items that are similar, and try to go after it there. Again, there's a lot of decisions you have to make, but I hope you kind of got the understanding based on what I said already. Hey, Cassie, help. I'm a new shop with 0 rockstar items. I'm having trouble knowing where to start. You know, that's kind of a general question. I think it's not best answered in this Facebook Live, but I will kind of give you something to start off with. I would say, Cassie, if you're a new shop and you just got this Marmalead upgrade, you're like, wow, I just basically started. I don't know where to start, you know. Cassie, I recognize your name, and maybe because you are very active in my group. But if you have the SEO webinar, I would recommend starting. If you don't get it, if you do, start there, and you know, do the research for your keyword phrases based on these new meters, and saying to yourself, okay, which ones have decent searches for me to attack within my market? Do that whole research. And if you find that a lot of the phrases you have are just low in searches and you really tried hard with my brainstorming activity and stuff, then I would say then that's the best you're going to get. Start utilizing those phrases and apply it the way I teach you, okay? That's where you have to start. But if you have if you find that you have a mixture of them and you have quite a few items, then I'd recommend using a variety of them. Again, teaching the way I teach you in the webinar. If you don't have the webinar, I recommend you get it. But if you don't want to get it, I'd recommend still using Marmalead, okay, to find which phrases are the best, okay, to use for this product. Remember, guys, don't try to game the system and not be relevant. Be relevant to your items, okay? And again, don't discredit the ones that are getting lower views, okay? Because again, they can go up over time, but you could still, if there's not much competition, you could still get to the top of search and get those people that are to your shop, especially those shops that have a lot of items, hundreds and hundreds of items. You're gonna have to probably have a variety of them being lower views, you know. But the ones I would probably stay away from, especially if you have other phrases to use, are ones that are low views and super, super high competition. Okay. Whew, I just had to I have to breathe right now. Okay, in regards to the bars, so many of them are filled in. So for instance, if the range is 0 to 100 and 2 bars are filled in red, that would suggest to me that approximately 20 are searching There are 10 bars. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. If the range is 0 to 200, 3 bars are filled. It will suggest 60. Got it. You know, the easiest way to get that logic answered, because I don't have the answer, is to ask Marmalead and just say, hey, you know, tag them in the post. I think in our group, they are Richie. I know Richie's in my group. Just tag them and say, hey, you know, this is why I suspect. Exactly what you said. Is this the truth or what? You know, and see what he says. I don't know the answer, and we don't have to guess. We can just ask the team directly. You can still apply it, Gemma, because the things I teach still are relevant. It's just the way that you have to find the answers are slightly different because the Marmalead platform changed. Gemma, if you have questions particularly about it, I would say, okay, Dad, I'm doing the thing, but I'm wondering how do I get this answer based on the new Marmalead app? Ask in the private group. I'll be happy to help you. Some people have already figured it out on how to figure out, navigate through the Marmalead app with my SEO webinar. But if you have not, it's okay. Post screenshots, post whatever you can to help us come to that conclusion so I can help you. Okay? Okay. So if you're checking out the competition and they have 3,000 views, excuse me, and they have 3,000 views, is that only Etsy search now and not social media? It depends. Where are you finding the competition has 3,000 views? Where? I have to ask that follow-up question, because I need to answer that question. Like, where did you see that this listing from a competition has 3,000 views? Because at this moment, if I'm not mistaken, if I go to Marmalead and go down, okay, it does not show the listings down below how many views that they have. There's no average views, okay? So because the old Marmalead did have that, and that would be a conjunction of, you know, getting views from search, getting views from sorry, I'm popular this morning. Getting views from search, from social media, from this, from that, from that, from that. So I want to know where you're getting that data from, because Marmalead does not supply it, if I'm not mistaken, right now. Okay. Good morning. Can you make an announcement here when the SEO webinar is updated? Yes, absolutely. My recommendation, by the way, is follow me on Twitter. Okay, follow me on Twitter. I put the links up above to my social media. Dahlia Mastermind is my Twitter handle. I also recommend going to the SEO private group and select all notifications so when people post in that group, particularly myself, you will see and get a notification on Facebook. Okay. This is so helpful. Need to watch. Oh, where to go? Need to watch later. You're welcome, Aileen. Update to that comment. Pet loss gifts with an S has a much higher ranking. So weird. Not really. Well, yes, I can see how weird that is, but very possible. Very, very possible. Mary said it right after that. Cool. Just joined. Welcome, Jennifer. But I'm noticing that shorter phrases are showing higher engagement with the new Marmalead. So we do not use Longtail anymore. Incorrect. I see where you're going with Jennifer. I love this question from Jennifer. Jennifer says, hey, on Marmalead, and she's only probably done so much research on it. She didn't check every word in the English language, obviously, but she's saying, hey, I noticed that shorter phrases, which are not Longtail, which is like 2-word phrases, even 1 word, are getting much more engagement with the new Marmalead. So do we not use Longtail anymore? Incorrect. Use Longtail. However, so long-tail phrases are made up of shorter words, right? So when you have a long-tail phrase, you know that means 3 to 4, even 5 keywords in a phrase. Okay. So personalized gold wallet, personalized gold small wallet. I just made that up, right? So it's like 4 words, right? So now if we're saying, but Dahlia, the higher engagement ones are lower. And so what I feel, engagement, by the way, is meaning somebody searches for that phrase, and then as a result of that search, clicks on this item. That can mean a lot of things, guys. That could mean they're browsing. So we find that in general, when people search for shorter phrases, they're browsing. It might lead to a sale, but they're browsing. So what I'm saying to Jennifer is, hey, use that short phrase in conjunction with Longtail. Okay, it doesn't hurt you, because what you might find that in the long, you know how I teach you in the SEO webinar, Jennifer, combining two? You're combining two short phrases. So if they both are high engagement, combine them both and you win no matter what. You win because you use the short phrase, and you win because you made it long tail. There you go. And so what happens is you win because it has higher engagement. So you caught those people that are, higher engagement. And you also win because if those people are more serious buyers and they want to use a long tail phrase to find your item, then you covered that as well. You covered both. And that's why I teach you my SEO webinar. So use it the way I teach you. Remember, the way I teach you in the SEO webinar has not really changed, okay? But the way to use Marmalead has, okay? And so, again, some people might be able to catch on how to use Marmalead with the changes, but if you have not, post in the group, okay? That currently has ended the comments. I'm going to go up to my most popular questions up above, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to answer them. I know this Facebook Live is running into an hour, but I'm still going to answer them. Just for the record, if you just joined, again, we're talking about Marmalead, most popular questions, some changes. Really great questions have been asked during this Facebook Live. So if you just caught it, please rewatch this. And you're more than welcome to ask questions even after this Facebook Live is done in the group. That's fine. I'll do my best to answer. I'm in the middle of doing bookkeeping and a whole bunch of other things like I'm always doing, so I'll try my best to answer if I've not missed a notification. If I have, re-tag me in it, okay? Again, I also am giving a 14-day free trial to Marmalead if you click the link above. And I highly recommend, first of all, get the free trial. It's free. But I highly recommend using it when you're ready to use it, because it's 14 free days, it's consecutive days. And then I highly recommend you do upgrade, because it is like when by the way, I found out the Marmalead tool was an upgrade to these changes way before anybody else found out, because they told me in advance, okay? And when they told me, I was so flippin' excited the whole rest of the night. I'm not even kidding. In fact, if you guys follow me on vlogs, I didn't post it in my vlog, but I recorded it on my vlogging camera when I was talking to my husband about the changes, and I didn't post it because obviously it had proprietary information that I was not supposed to share with anybody yet because it was not out. And so I was so flipping excited, and I was also angry because I'm like, I wish I thought of it before them. Again, I'm not a programmer. I was so excited because the fact that by the way, most search engines like Amazon, whatever, eBay, there's no data that tells you exactly how many searches are for a keyword phrase. There is educated guesses. There is, like, Amazon gives you impressions, even clicks if you use promoted listings or advertising campaigns, right? But there was no data that hold on a second, guys. This was a proof, right? I remember the name. Okay, cool. Oh, that was the RC pot. Yeah, this looks good. Oh, I know this. Okay. She wrote the word from. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't like it, but okay. Yes, looks good. Okay. So I was just so excited. So my recommendation is, after you use a 14-day free trial, if you hate it, then fine, you can hate it. But if you hate it, you probably are not utilizing it the way you should, and it's a great tool. Again, there's much more updates to that Marmalead tool besides just the Etsy searches. So take a look around. I absolutely love it. Okay, so let's answer some popular questions, okay? So people are like, why has my Etsy shop slowed down in general? This is a conversation, a hot topic over the last 6 months to a year. Can we all agree that, people, depending on who you are and whatever, 6 months to a year, people have been like, my Etsy shop has dropped 50%, 80%, this percent, ever since that new guy, joined Etsy, blah, 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 right? It's been the top topic, right? And so it's hard for me to join in on that conversation because the changes I've seen on my Etsy shop, I can't for sure say it's attributed to the change in Etsy, and one reason it could have been, but more than likely for me, it's because, in my opinion, because of my .com. I'm very successful at taking my repeat business and moving it to my .com. How do I know this? Because they tell me. They go to my .com, and when they check out, They select how they found out about me, and a lot of them are referrals, and I post it on my Instagram stories, not too often, but pretty often, maybe a couple times a month. And I show you how my customers come and find me, and it's usually they write Etsy or referral, which is the same thing, or even email lists, because I've gotten my repeat customers to come shop with me back again because they joined my email list. So those people, if I didn't have my .com, would have probably went back to Etsy, because I used to use my email list when I first started it, and I filtered them to Etsy to shop on there. And so it's hard for me to say personally I've been affected, because I may have just moved over my traffic to my .com. However, I'm very well aware people have been affected recently. And so the answer to why has my Etsy shop slowed down? Well, it's a number of factors, but it all boils, in my opinion, okay? I'm not assuming you guys have sucky items or have not done certain things to your items, have not caught up with trends. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what Etsy has controlled, what Etsy has changed, right? Not in your control. If you didn't control something, if you didn't change or keep up with trends or blah, 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 that's on you. I don't know what you've done, but I know what Etsy has done. And so if you're here to join on the Let's Blame Etsy train, partly is to blame for them. And I don't know how much based on your shop, but I will tell you that the reason why your Etsy shop has slowed down, again, this is a blanket statement. It may vary per person, but yeah, I mean, regardless if you call it testing or changes, they have been doing some changes to the Etsy platform over a year. It feels like a year now, maybe a little bit less. And so those changes are the following, okay? And I may be missing some, but what they're, and I'm telling you some things of how to control or whatever. But what they're doing is they're doing a few different things. One is clumping, and if you don't know what clumping means, clumping is when you search for a phrase that you're dying to be found for, right, or whatever phrase, and you find that the same shop, the shop that you want to like punch in the face, especially if it's your competition, that they're clumping, and they're like, let's call this shop fun calculators. Okay, let's imagine this is a shop name. So you see the shop fun calculators all over the first page, okay? Now some of you may have benefited from clumping, okay? Meaning if you search for a phrase, you found your shop is clumping, okay? And you're everywhere on the first page, because as you know it from before, you were not, back in the day, you could not get found in search more than once on the first page, once on the second, blah, 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 right? So, but now there's clumping. And so another caveat to clumping is that if I search for your phrase, which is, you know, personalized calculators, I made that up, I may find you clumped all over the first page. But Jessica, if she searches for that fun calculators keyword, phrase, whatever, she may not find you clumping. So the experience is different per customer, you know, it just depends on her user behavior. It may think that Jessica may be interested in the shop stuff for whatever reason, that they tracked her, you know, behavior with artificial intelligence, you know, and they may still be they are doing testing because they still are maybe trying to gather data from people like Jessica, people like whoever, you know, and to understand what to show them to help them convert more, okay? And so that's one thing, the clumping. Another thing that you may find is based on where you live. If you used to get a whole bunch of US sales and you're in the UK or wherever you are, you may find that you're getting less US sales. Not always, by the way, but there has been a severe decrease in some people's sales if they used to sell to the US, and now they're not so much. Now, so what does that mean? That means is Etsy screwing with showing your US customers your items, even if you sell to the US? Yeah, they are, you know, they are, because they're trying to, again, testing, they're trying to gauge whether or not that makes a difference. And we know this because there's certain things that they told us. They told us, you know, they told us that that if you look on Etsy to the left-hand side, sometimes I close my eyes, by the way, to envision things. Don't think I'm crazy. They filter by free shipping, 1 to 3 days, you know, whatever. So they feel that people will end up converting and purchasing based on how quickly they get their items, you know. And so turnaround times matter, which, by the way, you control. Of course, you can't control if you live in the UK. You can certainly move to the US, but we're not here about to do that, right? But you can control your turnaround times and things. So they're also testing on that. And when I say testing, somebody yesterday was like, I don't think they're testing. I think that they made these changes because we're seeing it much more and more, and they're running several tests at the same time. And so, like I said, Jessica may search for something, it may not see any issues, you know, on her end. She may see your UK listings, she lives in the US, obviously. She may see it available for her to purchase. However, I may not. And so that's what you might end up finding out that a lot of US customers may not see it. And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's why you're having a decrease in sales. Okay? And there's a few other factors, guys, that that Etsy has controlled or testing that may have decreased your shop sales. And the biggest thing is the reasons why they don't show your listings anymore to certain customers over others. You know, people wonder, is the application of SEO changed? No, it has not. It has not. But listen carefully. It is the weight of SEO to being relevant. So let me walk you through what that means. That means back in the day, I like to use the word back in the day. Back in the day, we're gonna say, let's say a healthy 2 years ago, because you know the changes started happening within the last year. Healthy 2 years ago, it was so easy to get, well, in my opinion, if you followed my advice, you guys know this, to gain the search and get to the top of search fairly easy. Okay. However, if it was hard for you, now it's even harder, right? But now it's starting to become harder. Why? Not because the application SEO has changed, but the Etsy search is like, I see how you're doing your SEO. Good for you. And I used to give, and this is a made up number, I used to give a lot of weight to how relevant your item is based on your SEO. I used to give it 80% weight, right? So 80% of the decision factor of why I would put you in the top of search was related to how you apply your SEO and your phrases and stuff and such. But now I'm giving you less weight, keyword phrases. I'm giving you less weight, maybe in the 40% range. I'm giving weight to other items. And by the way, those other items have changed tremendously. Meaning before it was pretty much keyword phrases, title tags, renewing, sale, recency, blah, 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 right? But now they're putting much more factors. And again, the factors are still being decided because they are doing testing, but it's location, it's sale. I mean, and by the way, there's still the same factors, but the weights have changed. And so the sales is, I mean, people say the renewing doesn't work. However, it does work. It's just inconsistent. Renewing, sorry, I'm trying to get my words together. There are other factors that have taken on different weights to determine whether you're relevant or not to get to the top of search, okay? And so what they're trying to do is, but think of their end result. They want to make sure that when Jessica shops on Etsy or an India buyer, they get the best experience for them. What they want is when Jessica searches for a gold wallet, that she finds the most relevant to her, which technically in this case is gold wallet. But for me, when I search for a kid's backpack, or I was in a search for a llama lunchbox for my daughter. She wants a llama lunchbox. I find only llama lunchboxes, not everything else, or things that you know what I'm saying, like based on my user behavior. If they find that Dahlia always buys things from Etsy that are 1 to 3 business days that ships, turnaround time, then they're probably going to only show me automatically things that are 1 to 3 business days when I search for that llama lunch tote. Okay. And so it will be based on these factors as it starts to, gather data from people's, behaviors on Etsy. And so again, there's going to be much more factors, and it will continue to learn. So the percentage, by the way, back in the day, was pretty much set. Now, as the data the system starts to learn, it's never going to be set. It's always going to fluctuate. Then how do you keep up with it if it fluctuates? How do you say, Dahlia, well, if, well, I can't give you a number, but if you're like, okay, maybe it is 40% SEO and these other are more weight, maybe I can control this more. It may be a certain percentage for a certain group of customers, but for other customers who care more about getting it shipped within 1 business day, they won't see your listings. Does that make sense? Because you ship later. And so the percentages and the weights will vary per customer. And that's why the people get different user experiences. Okay? Sorry, that was kind of a loaded answer, and I'm not sure if you guys followed, because I'm not sure if I made sense. Okay. Whew. I see a couple more comments. I'll read them and continue with my popular questions. Sorry to hog the Facebook Live. No, you're not hogging it. Don't worry. People have the same questions you do, but then maybe you haven't thought of asking them yet or whatever. Pet portrait print. Say that 3 times fast. Pet portrait print has 0 to 100 searches. Print has 4 to 5K. So in my title, should I separate the two with the comma instead of writing them as pet portrait print? No, don't separate the comma. The more, by the way, naturally, the more the general phrase, the more general the phrase is, the more searches it will get, okay? That's what it is. So you have it as part of your long tail phrase. That's what Jennifer was asking earlier, right? She's like, should we not use long tail anymore? I mean, it's a different type of question, but no, use it as part of it. And so your pet portrait print is part of it. So by the way, separating it, no. Keep it together. I just don't, it's hard for me to articulate why. I think I've made a point, but no, keep it together because it's still relevant. Separating it with a comma doesn't do you any good except that it's going to do you bad and that you won't be found for pet portrait print anymore. And that's more relevant than just the word print to you, okay? However, you may find that rearranging the words, such as portrait print for pets, I don't know, I made that up, may be higher in search, but other than that, no. I hope that made sense, Stacy. And again, I'm doing testing, and I'm working with Marmalead on certain things regarding their data, regarding this very important question, these general phrases having higher searches, because I'm questioning a few things, but I will let you know those results in the private group as soon as I come to those conclusions. Okay, and again, it's not because I'm just like hanging around, it's just because I need time to pass in order to conclude certain data. You guys, I mean, maybe you don't, but you know how like research works, right? Testing works when you have control groups and you have you know what I'm saying? So, fun fact, by the way, when I was in college a million years ago, not really. How long was it ago I was in college? I don't know, 10, 11 years ago. My degree was in, I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Marketing, and it was heavily focused on, you guys don't know this, was heavily focused on research and data, and it was something that I was just really good at. And that's why when I tell you, hey, let me do the research, let me do data, I know, for the most part, I mean, I'm not perfect at it, but I know what I'm doing, and I understand control group, I understand all this stuff. So fun fact is that I did that, and I did a fellowship regarding data and research and all this stuff. It's something that I like to do. I'm really good with numbers. I'm really good at understanding how to do it, Claire, about 75% of my sales were to the US. I'm in the UK. They've dropped by half in the last couple of months. However, Claire, have all your sales dropped in half in the last few months? Because then, of course, the US sales will follow by half, right? So if that's the case, then that just makes sense. But if not, if your UK sales increase and the other ones increase, then it's probably because Etsy's messing with the US people finding your listings, okay? Anita, my shop is practically dead from New Year on. I did raise prices. That may be a factor. By the way, and also, again, I can't tell you 100% why Etsy shop has slowed down, because part of it is what Etsy is doing, but part of it could be on you. For example, Anita, I haven't read the rest of your comment, but maybe she sells things that are off season right now. Believe it or not, people have come to me and say, hey, why is it not selling? And I'm like, you're selling crochet things in the summer. What you want from me, or, you're selling a basic item after holiday season. What do you want? What do you want? What do you expect to happen? Believe it or not, I'm not calling anybody out, but I'll call it out right now. Like, I've seen people who tell me that they've dropped, and I looked at them like, wait a minute, you haven't dropped. You just dropped from holiday season. You went back to your normal. I trust that many of you have good understanding of how to view your stats. But the reality is, I've talked to many people who, when I ask them more detailed questions, I'm like, wait a minute, you're not as bad as you thought. Why are you getting all crazy? That's the reality of humans. Like, sometimes we're like, I want more sales, right? But when you compare to last year, same time frame, maybe not so bad, So believe it or not, I do find people that don't really have a good handle on what their stats are, because they just assume and they don't know how to look. The best thing to do is look from this year to prior year, you know? Whew, okay, my shop is practically dead, blah, blah. I did raise prices, that may be a factor, but I have no activity whatsoever. Not even like. I am leaving it right as of right now, since it suits me to have the time to work on my photos and my life. Yep, but I'm getting worried. I get a good look at the new Marmalead, and the results show toward the short tail keywords. How do we go about that? I'm not sure if I understand your question correctly, Anita. So that might need a follow-up question, maybe in the group after this Facebook Live is done, because I'm not sure if I really follow how do we go about what, you know? I don't think I follow, and it could be because I'm so tired after an hour-long Facebook Live, an hour 20-minute long Facebook Live. But just, you know, keep that in mind. Again, I'll stay along as long as I can for you guys, because I know this is a huge topic. Jennifer, my sales have been doing good lately. Awesome, awesome. Claire, my UK sales have stayed the same level. I think the drop was in the US. Sales could be testing. So I'm not sure if you're confidently answering that, or if you looked at your stats and said, okay, let me compare and get that definite answer. Get that definite answer, and then make decisions based on that. Meaning, if everything's dropped by 50%, then there's probably other issues. Still could be Etsy issues, but other issues. But if it has only been the US, then it probably definitely is Etsy, in my opinion. If nothing else you've changed, such as your turnaround times or things of the sort, or shipping costs, anything like that, okay? Whew. I'm talking so much, I'm hungry, okay? Stacy, thank you so much for helping us. We're putting you through paces today. No, it's okay. I understand, like, you know, a lot of you guys rely on this for money, and listen, I'll call it as it is. I'm not sitting here worrying, because the reality is, because I'm literally talking about to my assistant, I'm gonna send out an email to my email subscribers soon, which I know is gonna bring quite a few dollars in. I'm gonna do this and that, and to have other avenues, and not everybody has other avenues. Do I want you to have other avenues? Do I want you to work on your website? I've talked about it a million years ago. And your email list? Hell yeah. Pinterest, you guys know that's a recent topic I've been talking about. I want you to work on it, yes. But it does not change the fact that even if you worked on it, it doesn't change the fact that even if you started working on it, it hasn't built up yet. And so I understand that sometimes people, they're doing the right moves, but they haven't built up the other avenues of, you know, revenue to not be so worried about this. So I understand people are worried, and I want to help people. I don't want to discredit you for being worried and saying, oh, you should have worked on your email list. Yeah, you should have, or sooner than you should, you know, sooner than later. But if you've not, I'm still here to help you what you can with Etsy, you know, if that makes sense. I will say this, if there's no other questions, that, you know, I love Etsy. I told people before that the day I leave Etsy is the day that they pry me off with my, you know, my last bit of fingers holding onto the edge, when they push me off the platform, meaning I'm going to stay on there as long as they would have me, because that's money that I want to keep in my pocket. But I want to make sure people with their busy schedules, with their busy schedules, with their busy, you know, lives, with filling orders, that they figure out how to carve time to slowly build their other, you know, other revenue and all that stuff. In fact, guys, if you don't follow me on YouTube, okay, link is up above, bit.ly/Dahlia YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, please. I would appreciate it. This Friday, I'll be posting a vlog. It's a shorter vlog. Oh, it's not that short. It's like 24 minutes. And it's about this very topic. I talk about snowballing effect. Make sure you watch out for that video. It's in a post that Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time. I'm talking about this topic very much. And what you have to do, really, if this teaches you anything, if you have not been taught it already, everybody that's on this call right now, everybody that's listening, 50 people that's listening right now, what are you doing besides Etsy to grow your business? Now, I will say this, if you have just started Etsy a few months ago, but you have not built a basic business foundation, such as product line and, you know, some basics, like learning how to do photos, like, you know, if it's still considered, let's just call it how it is, a hobby, then yeah, certainly you don't want to start a website tomorrow, because it takes time, it's costly, whatever. But if you've been past that, if you're like that, I have a basic, I have repeat business, I have, you know, some good things happening, you know, if you have not built a website, built other traffic sources to that website, such as Google SEO, email list, you know, Pinterest, all these things have the snowballing effect, which again, I talk about in my blog this Friday, then you have to get it done. You have to carve out time. And what's going to happen is, and I've seen this many times, when it comes to be too late, that person comes to me, and I'm saying this like literally, people have come to me, emails, messages, as saying what happened to them on Etsy, regardless if they shut them down or not. and they need my help. I'm like, you've hate to be one who says I told you so, but it's like, why didn't you start this months ago and I talked about it? And I remember one particular person who has been a member in my group for so long. I'm like, we've talked about websites and Amazon and why haven't you done any of it? Well, they've been busy, right? But now, now you have all this free time because Etsy shut you down. This is a long time ago, by the way. But now you really regret it. And now that you realize it, you could have found the time to build it, And I, without any, hurricane warning, I didn't get this warning that something's going to happen way back in the day. I just knew it was natural to build a website, to build other revenue. It just, you know how you don't want to wait till the storm, right? To take care of something. You don't want to wait till the storm comes to go to Walmart to get bottles of water. You prepare way in advance. That's probably a bad correlate, example. But you guys know what I'm saying. And so if this taught you anything, I love Etsy. Stay on Etsy. Continue to work with what they are giving you and how to, work with it. But make sure that you also take care of yourself in other ways. If you're a business owner, be a business owner. Don't just sell on Etsy. Sell on other places. Equip yourself with knowledge and the know-how to sell on these other platforms, okay? And again, don't be impatient. If you're the one out there that just started recently, if you want motivation because you're impatient, go for it. I'm totally with you that sometimes you need motivation because you're impatient, even if you started 2 weeks ago on Amazon. You're like, I just need motivation. Why am I not selling yet? Go out there and look for success stories to help you keep pushing. But don't really be the impatient person that thinks everything's failing because you just started a few months ago. Don't do that. I have survivor's guilt because my shop's on fire. Awesome. That's awesome, Michelle. And so there's some people out there, by the way, that are still doing well. Okay. I'm doing fairly fine. Again, I've taken some of the business from Etsy to my .com. So it's very hard to gauge how well I'm doing, to be honest. But I think there's a saying that says the strong will survive. I'm not sure if that's 100% true in this case, but I think with Etsy's testing, they may have influenced who's going to be strong or not. However, I think that the end result, the strong will survive. But some people are still doing well, and that's fine. Figure out how you could do better. And there's many resources. Guys, I've talked about this time and time again. If you're out there saying, I don't know how to do better, but your SEO sucks and this sucks. We talked about it in the other day, multiple Facebook lives, the steps you have to go through to make sure do you have your photos in order? Do you have your description in order? Don't sit there and complain when your basics of your business, right, are not in order, right? But you might be like, I used to be great, but now I'm not. So it can't be because of my description. It always worked for me. Yeah, but with the things that Etsy's changing, I said this to Richie, control the controllables, right? The thing that you can control, that you could influence, control them. Stop making excuses. After you control all of them, which might take a while, obviously, to do, then you can start bitching, complaining that Etsy's ruining your life, But if you're sitting there with decent, product line and decent this, I want you to make money tomorrow. But the reality is they're trying, Etsy's trying to make the strong survive, and over time, because that's what's going to bring customers in to make money. And so if you don't have everything in order, guys, you can go through it. Your photos, your this, your that, things that you can control. Have you, everybody on this Facebook Live now, can I get some comments down below? Okay? With the things that you can control, do you believe that you still have things to work on that are controllable? Such as, this one? Such as photos, such as description, such as additional photos, such as your variations. Do you? She's turning 5? You had a 5 thing?
No.
You learned it. I love it. Okay. Yay! Okay, no, when you see me, I'm like, I see you watching. I'm like, cool. Okay, cool. Princess Charlotte. I'm tired. Yes. By the way, I have to cut all those. I'm like, what happened to that? Okay. Hey guys. Always, right? Yes, there's always. I'm not here to look for perfection. For me, I was talking about it in my vlog yesterday, which will be posted soon, that I have to work on packaging again and inserts. And yeah, certainly there's always things to work on, But there's some people, by the way, that have controlled the controllables, me, for example, and there's some people that are way off or in between. If you're way off in between, what do you think you should be doing, right? Me, for example, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying me that have a lot of good things in place. Yeah, I'm always looking to be better because I love that answer always. But if you have controlled most of the controllables, then that's great. Then you know what I'm saying, then you did a lot of your part. Always work on better, making better. Like I'm working on packaging very soon and blah, blah. But, I think you guys know what I'm saying, right? Thanks for confirming what I was thinking. It's frustrating as I don't feel I could influence it. You absolutely can. In the end of the day, I was talking to Richie and we both agreed Etsy is trying to make the user experience based on what they think the customers will buy. And so what you could influence is your product line, your variations, your descriptions, your photos, you name it, right? And your customer service. We talked about that. I posted in the group yesterday. And so if you're not taking those things seriously, don't come on this group and complain. I mean, you can. You could definitely come in this group and complain, and we could help you walk through it and realize what's wrong with your shop. But realize it yourself. You guys are very, very smart. I know you are because I feel like when somebody asks for that type of advice, you know exactly what to say to them in my group. But when you ask for it, you probably already know the answer. You just need to hear from somebody else. Kathy says, are most of you doing custom items? Because I don't, and I'm wondering if that's why I don't do well on Etsy. I don't know. I hope people can answer that for you. I do personalized items, so it's not complete custom. I have a design and they just put their name in it. And colors. However, the personalized market is definitely a popular one on Etsy. I can tell you that for 100%. I thought of a couple of things I want to buy, and because they were personalized, I immediately thought of Etsy. Immediately. Morgan, yes, no time for Etsy, so it suffers. Can't complain because I haven't done the work. There you go. Yep, the list never ends. Yeah, I have some things on my to-do list for Etsy. Definitely some controllables that it should be done. And so I'll be getting to that as soon as some other priority items leave. But I'm not here complaining about sales. If I was complaining about sales, then my priorities should be shifting, right? Awesome, Jennifer. Awesome. Always working and creating new items and learning something new to add to my shop. Search trends and riding the trendy train. February was my highest month ever. I love it. I had a really great month in February as well, particularly my .com. I was very proud of it. Amanda, my customers are always the most difficult to please. I always find investing in something like great product line is better use of time. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap this Facebook Live up. I hope you found it helpful. There might be additional questions after this Facebook Live is done. Absolutely. And if you do have them, make sure you post it in a separate post, not in the comments below, because I may miss it. Plus I want people to also benefit from the answer. So that's that. Again, if you just recently joined and you didn't get most of it, make sure you rewatch this. Also, just if you want a chance to try out the new Marmalead, I give my 100% stamp approval on it more than ever because of this new change. We haven't talked about the other changes on the Marmalead platform, but that could come to another time. It's fine. But I give a 14-day free trial. The link is up above, marmalead.com/mastermind. Click on it, then sign in, and you will have the update. I know you'll love the update, especially if you use it correctly. I'd highly recommend upgrading afterwards to get that data always. You always need to know when you're listing items, guys, what's trending, what's not. Especially with somebody mentioned earlier with seasons like holidays, like Mother's Day or graduation or whatever, and see what's trending. Make sure that you're catching the waves of people, because at this moment, and Marmalead is a SEO tool for Etsy sellers. So if you're relying on search traffic, get the Marmalead upgrade. If you are like, Daddy, I rely on search traffic, but a lot of my traffic also comes from Pinterest for Etsy or blah or email list, whatever, then I still recommend upgrading the tool, because don't say no to like free traffic for Etsy, search. But if you feel like it's a less of an influence for your business at the moment because you are a rock star at social media driving traffic to Etsy shop, then fine, maybe you don't. But if you heavily rely on it, then you should be upgrading to the Marmalead, because at this point, I've probably never said before this day, I've never confidently said, yes, get it. I said, hey, this is how it helps you. This is, if you want to upgrade on it. at this point, I'm like, you know, in my opinion, you'd be fools not to. And I say that because I know it sounds mean, but because of the type of data it gives you now, it's kind of like a no-brainer, right? So I would recommend trying out the free trial, the 14 free days, so you could see what's in it. If you're ready for the 14-day free trial, try that link again. I don't know how systems work too much, but because of their update, it may have, by trying it again, that link, it may have reset itself and may give you another 14 days free. I don't know. Because Erica mentioned earlier that she already did the 14-day free trial, but with this new update, now she can't get it. She may. I don't know. Try it out. Okay, guys. Anyway, so I think that's it, right? All right, guys. I hope you have a great Tuesday. Oh, I just missed a whole bunch of messages. No, so helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks, Dahlia. This is why you're the bomb. Thank you. So dedicated to us. Thank you very much, Gemma. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Oh, one more thing. I'll put it in the comments, okay? I mentioned. How did I forget to mention it? I mentioned last week that that the Makers Biz Summit is coming out, okay? I'm a speaker for 2 of the topics, Google SEO and email list marketing, you know, some of my favorite topics, okay? And there's about 29 or 30 other speakers with different topics, okay? It's like this whole like vault of valuable information, okay? I should have mentioned this in the earlier part of this Facebook Live, but anyway, so hold on, THM. What is my? Hold on, let me get the link for you guys, so you can get it. Because if you did not get the free playbook or even the free there it is. If you did not get the free ticket to the event, it's for free, no brainer, right? I just put it in the comments, the link. Did it work? There it is. I put it in the comments. First of all, it's for free. Get it. What happens is you will get to view each of the interviews for free for 48 hours. Duh. View them. Now, if you wanted all like lifetime access to them and all access pass, when you get the free ticket, it would redirect you to a page for the all access pass, okay? For a discount, okay? I personally would recommend you upgrade because of the valuable information you get it, and you can watch it at your own time. You can certainly watch all the videos at your own pace. Sorry, you can watch it in the 48 hours when it comes out, absolutely, but sometimes you want to refer back to it, or maybe you don't have time to watch it in the 48 hours. This All Access Pass lets you watch it unlimitedly, okay? Like whenever you want. And the All Access Pass, when you upgrade, I have to remember, I'm not hosting this event, by the way. Somebody else is hosting it. It's not my event. I've just been asked to speak in it. She has a bonus section when you upgrade to the All Access Pass, and this bonus section is filled with very valuable bonuses from a variety of the speakers and people that are not even speaking as well. Like there's other people that have donated bonuses, free stuff as well as discount coupons and things like that. Okay, to very valuable tools and resources that you guys use. And so not only do you get these bonuses that's worth a lot of money, you get these interviews that were really highly focused on valuable content, actionable content. When I spoke to Deb, I call her Deborah, before this interview, or interviews, I did 2 of them. She was like, we focus on actionable things. We focus on, value. She told me the questions that she'll be asking me, because she wants to make sure that the people that are viewing this get content that they can actually use. And it comes with free PDFs that people get for free, even if you don't get the All Access Pass. Anyway, so if you don't have the free ticket, get the free ticket. I put the link down below in the comments. I'll update this Facebook Live in a minute, the title, so you could get the link also up there. It's bit.ly/THM free ticket. That's it. And the summit starts on the 12th, next week. Okay, so you want to get the free ticket in advance. I'm not sure if it's limited seating. I'm not sure. I forget. Where's my little calendar? It starts on the 12th, and it runs until the 20th or the 18th. Something like that. Something like that. Okay, I think the 18th. And the last chance to get the ticket is the 20th if you want to upgrade to the All Access Pass. Okay, guys? All right, guys. I will see you later. All right? Bye.